World leaders and tech experts are in the UK today for the world's first summit on how to regulate artificial intelligence. It will look at the risks and the opportunities AI poses, and Abby Kugathasan is watching as it unfolds today. So, Abby, what are they looking at as far as those who are attending the summit? What are they studying?
Well, Heather, the message from the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak here is that Britain is a global leader. That's part of how he wants all of us to see the event that he's holding at Bletchley Park outside of London. That was the site from which World War II code breakers operated, and that is where executives from corporations like Google, Meta, and Microsoft are gathering to discuss regulations over the next 2 days. This morning, actually, a co-founder of Google, DeepMind, said he doesn't want to see Silicon Valley speed ahead with AI like it usually does with other matters, that every step here should be taken very carefully. There are also government representatives here in the UK for this summit, including Canada's Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry. That's François-Philippe Champagne. Now, just a short while ago, we've heard about what's being called the Bletchley Declaration. 28 countries have signed an international action on frontier AI. That's linked to severe threats to public safety, often considered long-term risk by AI experts. Now, Sunak has highlighted bioterrorism as an example, but also the threat of humans losing control over technology. Here's Professor Gina Neff from the University of Cambridge speaking about that risk.
So imagine losing control of AI systems, so a kind of Terminator model of how the robots take over. There's a really low chance of that ever happening, but it's a risk that government wants to have on its horizons.
But there's also a sense by some researchers that this summit isn't wide enough in scope. Immediate threats aren't on the agenda.
You need to focus on all the different kinds of risks that AI is causing, and that includes all kinds of AI systems. That includes risks of misinformation and disinformation, of bias and replicating societal biases, of stereotyping, of impacts on jobs or employment. All of those are unfortunately off the table at this summit, and we believe they should be on the table.
And Heather, King Charles has now spoken virtually. He says the risks of artificial intelligence must be addressed with a sense of urgency.
Abby, we were looking at the family photo as it's known, all of the people who are attending the summit. Notable, perhaps, for those who were not in attendance in that photo, and I know that's been the subject of criticism involving the British Prime Minister.
Yeah, certainly. Some people saying that Sunak's big party is a big flop because there's no Biden, there's no Macron, there's no Schultz. There are very few world leaders here. We did see U.S. Vice President, I should say, Kamala Harris. She's in attendance, as is EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. But number 10 is definitely downplaying the lack of world leaders who've accepted invitations. Now, Sunak is also being criticized for being behind the 8 ball because the U.S. just passed its own AI safety measure by executive order a few days ago. And the EU, we know, has already gone ahead with regulation of its own, even going so far as banning some systems. But it is worth saying this summit brings some of the world together to figure out how to regulate AI collectively. And that, AI experts say, is very, very important. Sunak has previously said that this also includes partners like Beijing, even though he's received backlash for asking representatives from China to attend. Professor Neff says China being in the UK this week is critical because AI is a global issue which requires global regulation.
Brakes don't just stop cars. Brakes help cars go faster. When you have brakes that work, you can let your car go knowing you know how to stop it. We don't have that version for AI yet.
Today, there will be a few small group sessions discussing some of the risks. And tomorrow, Sunak will meet with officials from like-minded countries and companies. That's what his government says. And then he'll have a chat that'll be live streamed. That chat, Heather, is with Elon Musk.
Abby, thank you very much. Abby Kugathasan in London this morning.